What's up? I'm Dawn Fletcher. It is April 2020, and I'm over here in San Diego, California, where I live during the pandemic, during the outbreak of coronavirus. I am definitely feeling very privileged and blessed to be able to live in such a beautiful place and also to obviously have a safe home and for my health. I'm feeling terrible for the world and for all of those who aren't in the same position that I'm in. But I thought I'd use this time to make a video. One of my clients asked me to answer a bunch of questions about my beliefs, and basically she asked me to answer the same questions that Tim Ferriss used to interview others for the content of his book Tribe of Mentors. So I'm going to answer those same questions, roll through them. That way any other followers or clients can also listen to the interview. First question: what book have you given most as a gift and why? Or what books have most greatly influenced your life? The most common book I give to clients or other people is definitely a journal or a daily devotional book. But some other book titles are that I frequently give and that have really influenced me are Comfortable in Uncertainty by Pema Chodron, Love Does by Bob Goff, Essentialism by Greg McKeown, 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. If you could have a giant billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say and why? One of my favorite quotes recently has been a Glennon Doyle quote: "Be brave because you are a child of God, and be kind because so is everyone else." Really powerful, simple message. Be brave and be kind. That's what my billboard would say. What advice would you give to a smart, driven college student about to enter the real world? What advice should they ignore? I would give the advice of making sure that you understand your student loans, the repayment option, finances as best as you can. That's definitely something I wish I did a better job at the time, better job in understanding. Some advice to not maybe give so much weight to is any advice from people trying to steer you away from your passions or your gifts. Any advice that's trying to get you to maybe conform in some certain way. Pay attention to what lights your heart on fire and chase after that. That would be my advice. What is an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love? Most of you know this: ice baths. I have an outdoor metal tub and will probably soon upgrade to a larger chest freezer. It's something I've been doing for at least a few years, regularly, once or twice a week, and I absolutely love it. It has potent benefits, and it's something that most people think is crazy, but I absolutely love and feel very strongly about. What purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months? I haven't purchased that much in the last 6 months, but I would say that it's definitely been my Toastmasters monthly dues, which are less than $100. Toastmasters is a local, well, they have it internationally, but it's a public speaking class, and it has definitely pushed me and challenged me in my personal growth and has helped me become a better coach and public speaker. Been a really good use of money. I highly suggest checking it out. How has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure? I would say two things come to mind. I don't really view them as failures anymore, but one is in 2011 I had a really bad back injury happen during a race, and while I was starting to do a lot of CrossFit, and that definitely changed my trajectory a lot. I was always putting my personal athletic goals first as the priority, and because that happened to me and it really changed my body and changed my training, I went all in as a coach and began to put my business and other people's goals in front of mine, which obviously turned out to be such a great success. It's what I've been doing now for the past decade. So the other one was when I was applying to graduate school. I messed up my application. I only applied to 2 schools, one to University of Florida and to San Diego State, and I was living in Maryland at the time. So I was kind of nervous about the option of going across the country to San Diego, but that is also what excited me the most. And I messed up my application for University of Florida. The wrong department didn't get it by the certain time that it was due. So I only got accepted to San Diego State, which it was tough at the time because I obviously messed it up, but it led me to where I am now, living out here for the past 10 years. So that's been pretty cool. What are bad recommendations you hear in your profession or area of expertise? I hear a lot of just toughen up or be positive advice, which is watered down and not really helpful to a lot of people. I would say aim to understand what your client or what the athlete is thinking and what they're struggling with, and also aim to understand maybe how they like to be spoken to. So I think the just overall advice that a lot of coaches give is like, just try harder, just toughen up, or just be more positive, and that's not always really helpful. It's not getting to the root of it. So it's just sometimes I just shrug it off or laugh it off, and I realize that the coach or the person in that position just doesn't get it or is undereducated. It's not necessarily their fault. But all that Fitspo inspirational stuff on like Instagram and whatever, I'm really not that into that. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? I would say the investment into my business. It was a risk, and I still view it as a calculated risk of sorts. Being a female entrepreneur, as a coach in the fitness space, and doing this now for like 15 years. But at the beginning, it was a lot of investment of time, of energy, of learning how to get an online business started, and it's certainly paid off. It's better than I could have ever imagined, and it's just been a really cool process and journey, but it's certainly been an investment of a lot of things. In the last 5 years, what have you become better at saying no to? I would say definitely the low-hanging fruit. I try to be really intentional with what I allow in my schedule and to commit time to. And so unless someone has a very clear purpose of what we're going to discuss and how long that's going to take, I simply say no. And I make sure I'm very clear about the use of my time and only dedicating the time and energy to certain, I guess, projects or individuals that I know are aligned with my purpose. If I'm not super excited about it, even if it's a social thing, it's a no. Last question. When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do? What question do you ask yourself? When I feel very overwhelmed, the first thing I do is try to stop. Stop everything, take a break, go out in nature and just be still. That's what works best for me. I obviously pray and try to give it to God and surrender it the best that I can. And journal a lot. That works for me. I guess I ask myself and God the question of just what's not working? Like, what am I maybe doing or thinking, or what cycles am I in that are not working? And I always try to be grateful for the opportunity to reevaluate, get recentered, get grounded again, because that state of overwhelm is no way to live. So that's just some things I do and think about when I'm overwhelmed. I hope you enjoyed this interview, answering the questions that, again, Tim Ferriss used for his book, Tribe of Mentors. If you have any further questions that you would like me to expand on, or anything that you'd like me to answer in another video, post it below. Enjoy. Take care, everyone. Be safe.